Hey, hello, hello. Welcome back to Transformers Tuesday. It's Transformers Tuesday. Hey, James. Thanks for being here, man. That's awesome. You went to that. There's another convention. You mentioned that last week, so you're gonna see that Santana wrestler. Tito Santana, that's his name. I forgot his name for a minute there. That's awesome, man. And then you got his autograph and pictures. Green Ranger figure. When you said that, man, that brought back so many memories. I remember getting the Green Ranger figure. It was around the time I was living in Mississauga. I was living in this area at the time, and when I got that figure, I moved. Something like that. It was around that time when I moved. And yeah, it was so awesome getting that figure. Let's have a look at that. I'm so not set up. What happened with OBS? It asked me to reinstall some .NET, C++, something or other. And yeah, I do some reinstalls there. So is it this figure? Is it this guy? Because I had this guy, and I was so happy to have him. You could also take off his chest armor. I had that picture up a second ago. Here it is. To reveal his Godzilla Zord. Dragon Zord. I had the Dragon Zord too. Oh man, that was a great Christmas. So it was one Christmas I got the Megazord, and then another Christmas I got the Dragon Zord. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And yeah, those were huge toys. Wonderful. Wonderful toys. Oh, this is Wheeljack's Lab. That's cool. I remember Wheeljack's Lab. It's been around forever. So that's cool. Oh, where's the chat happening? I forgot to set that up. Hope you can hear me. I didn't fix my microphone again. What else is new? Chat, I want to fix. So it's nearly Christmas time. It was snowing the other day. Today it's a little bit rainy, a little bit warmer, which was nice for a change. +2 to 4 is a nice change. Love the cassette drone. Yes! Okay, that's not mine. That's what I'm shooting for. And it was a cardboard video cassette box by Hasbro. Oh, okay. Okay, that's the Green Ranger you got? Okay. The cardboard video cassette box. I saw this one. No, that's a Bandai one. I'm searching Bandai. Let's search for Hasbro. Lightning Collection. That's a cool one. I like that. Zordon effects there in the background. Cardboard video cassette box. That's a cool one. Dino Charge, Green Ranger. Holy Dinah. Okay, let me fix a couple of things here. There it is. Sweet, there's the chat. Take that filter off. Sweet. So I hope you've had a good week. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope all my cats are chill. Chill as cats. What else did you get? You got a Sailor Jupiter figure. Man, I could search a million Sailor Jupiter figures. There's so many of those. What else is happening? A China figure. WWE China. Who's WWE? China. Oh, China. I remember China. Oh man. Yo, that was a time, yeah. China, that's hilarious. Look at that. That's a man's buck. It's a man's buck. Hey Richard, hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, Cool Cat. Okay, so let's, before we get into that cool stuff, I have a drink here. It's not Halloween anymore, and I didn't get those awful Canadian Halloween snacks that they have. They don't carry that anymore. The dollar store don't carry it. So I just happened to see this one. It was the last can. That's China right there. Yeah. Beetlejuice. I didn't see this movie, but you know the first one. Well, when I was a kid, the cartoon was a thing, and I wasn't allowed to watch the movie because I was a little bit too young for that. And I was craving an apple drink, a green apple thing, and I happened to come across this, and it was like the only one there in the cooler. I never look in the pop cooler, never into pops. Wait, I don't have my microphone, so let's just do it here. Wow, that smells toxic green. Let's have a look. Not over the keyboard. That's a Beetlejuice green. Well worth it. Go Fanta. I hate Fanta. I really not into the taste of Fanta. And again, this is a really strange. Fanta's so strange to me. It's like a potpourri smell. It's like apple potpourri. It tastes like the inside of like one of those like artsy furniture stores. You know, where you have like a lot of that birch furniture and like, I am here. Rock and roll, dude. Hey, unknown unpopular user, how are you, man? Oh man, I was thirsty, but it tastes like a birch tree a little bit. That's kind of what it tastes like. That's interesting. Birch tree and apple. Birch cider and apple. Okay, that was refreshing. Let's go back to see some of these cool things. So China, that's a cool figure. And there was Transformers Tuesday was today with Hasbro Pulse. So they did a video, and I don't know, it was a cool video, but for some reason it wasn't as exciting as it should have been. Like, there was some really cool reveals. So they're talking about like Silverbolt and Superion. Let's look at Silverbolt. Age primes. So yeah, this like accessory, like that ramp or whatever used to be in the G1. Oh no, it was, the ramp was, well, Silverbolt basically turned into a ramp, and there was an accessory, but this is like a whole barricade shield accessory, and I suppose it's like main parts, like arm parts and leg parts for Superion here. I guess that's what that transforms into, maybe. Anyways, it turns into a barricade. Yeah, that looks like Superion parts right there. And they were gushing about the gun, how the gun is so original, accurate. That has never been done before. That's original as the G1. And yeah, I don't know. It wasn't selling it as like this stuff sells itself. Like he was kind of overselling it a little bit. You gotta collect them all to finish Superion, and he's showing like an unfinished Superion. What are you most excited from the Age of Prime line so far? Well, I'm excited about the whole thing. I'm excited, and that's another thing I was thinking about on my walk home from work today. It was like, it struck me like it's a new age of the primes, and I think, you know, like Hasbro is looking at a new age. They're looking at like a new headquarters in Massachusetts. They're going to leave Rhode Island. They're looking at outsourcing a lot of their licensed properties. Silverbolt looks awesome with the booster. Yeah, he does look awesome with the booster, and it fits super cool. It's like he's like I guess you would call that kind of playing a condor, and he looks like a spaceship. Spaceship. After he has the accessory on him, yeah. Why do they call it Age of the Primes? Yeah, why do they call it Age of the Primes? I guess they're leaning really heavy into the whole 13 Primes thing. And that's something that was like talked about. Like, I remember Aaron Archer in 2010 BotCon was talking about this at a panel in Florida, and he was talking about the 13 Primes, and he's like, just wait, cool things are coming. And he said that, I'm like, I didn't really understand who Aaron Archer was at the time, but like I figured it out. And yeah, it's been like 15 years in the making. So I feel really optimistic that they're digging into all these like really cool things that they should have done for so long. But again, it occurred to me that they're changing it up. It's like a new age. It's like they're maybe they're doing their last run. Maybe they're doing all the cool things, and like then they're gonna license things out. Like what else can they possibly do? Are they gonna do it all over again? I don't know. I feel like it's kind of how do you say it? Melancholic happiness that there's all these cool things, but like it's gonna fizzle out. It feels like they're getting ready for a big change. That they're not going to be doing this anymore. So they'll be doing a couple of combiners, a couple of the main Titans, Primes. I don't know. I'm all for it though. I love Hasbro, and definitely I'm excited about all of that stuff. Actually, like all of these Primes are so cool, and like Star Convoy is so cool. It's not really part of the Age of the Primes thing, but I'm really excited about that Jinrai masterpiece. Maybe they did the characters they haven't. Yeah. Oh, here's another reason. Maybe I could put this video up. I was at my Toys R Us today, and I was looking around, and like they're getting ready to shut down operations over there. So I could feel it. It's not the same excitement. There's nothing really different. Like, okay, maybe some of the big boxes are like put up front with like 30% off, and everything's 30% off now, Transformers included. But it's a new age. It's a new age. I don't know. I feel a little bit sad. Maybe it's just my sadness about my Toys R Us closing. But yeah, Hasbro's taken a big risk. Oh, there was that like lawsuit, and like I guess it's coming, and like lawsuits happen all the time with like big money and corporations like this. So like the investors had sued Hasbro because they had overbought or overproduced toys in 2022, knowing that they weren't all going to sell, and then the result was like the layoffs, which was an unfortunate thing. But that's the numbers game. Maybe I should switch back here to this screen. That's the numbers game, I was thinking. So Lana's watching TV. I have Lana's show on all the time so she can hang out with me in here. Let's switch it up to some Pluto. I haven't rewatched this really. This would be cool to have in the background. What do you think about Star Convoy? I think Star Convoy is really cool. Really, really cool. Let's have a look at that, actually. I was kind of side watching that Hasbro Pulse video today. So it's funny that he mentioned he's a Prime, or like he's one of the 13 Prime, Star Convoy. That doesn't make any sense. Like he's not an original. Like Star Convoy, from mine, I understand, is a combination of Rodimus Prime and Optimus Prime. And neither Rodimus or Optimus went back during the Age of the Primes. Which Toys R Us store is closing? A number of Toys R Us stores are closing. I wish I took note of it. So the Brampton one is closing. the one, my Toys R Us is the Square One Toys R Us in Mississauga, in here, Ontario, Eglinton. This is the Toys R Us that's closest to TFCon at the Hilton Meadowvale. So anyone who's like doing, I know a ton of people who do Toys R Us runs before and after the convention. And this is the Toys R Us. They go to Square One, they go get some Chipotle, and then Toys R Us. Can't wait to get Star Convoy. Yeah. It's loaded with all kinds of features. It doesn't have the walking feature. It doesn't have the walking feature, but it's beefy. It's beefy. It's like between a Commander class and a Titan class. I feel. Maybe that's just because of the price point. It's like $160 US. I think they managed that. Oh man, we only aware that the one in Thornhill was closing. Yeah, when I was there was like a poster up front, and it had like QR codes for 4 other ones that are closing. So if you want to like go and like loot them, so initially it was 10% off. Now everything's 30% off. But honestly, the Transformers section was just as full as it was before. Nobody's really buying the Transformers despite them being 30% off. And like some things were already priced the same. So I bought some t-shirts from there. It was two t-shirts, and the second one was half off, right? So I guess they were $30 each, so $45 for t-shirts. And now they're 30% off. So what's 30% off of what did I say? $60 each times 7%. That's $42. Okay, so it's $3 of savings. Only slight more savings. Then the Transformers were often on sale too, and they weren't really moving. Right now, it's 30% off. Most of the stuff that was there was Transformers 1 figures. The only deluxe figures that were even stocked there was Alpha Trion and Deluxe Optimus. There's a new layout that will be standard according to my former boss. Oh, you used to work at Toys R Us too? Oh, awesome, awesome. Oh, another thing is the Toys R Us I worked at way up north in Sudbury, Ontario. That one is closing. I read that online. It just happened to be in the CTV or something like that. My Google morning feed. There are brand new stores in the GTA? Oh, really? Get out. Not in my area. This is like, I don't know. I don't know why. I guess it's expensive real estate. Maybe they couldn't afford that location anymore just because the times are changing. Like, I know how it is. I have a business in this area. I was renting in the same location. We had a place for $13,000 a month, and that was no problem at a time. That was no problem for a time. Right now, things are tight. Were there any leftover Rise of the Beast toys? There were not. I took a good video. Oh, here's my cable. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, let me upload the video. Oh, that's not my cable. Let me get a cable and I'll upload the video that I took. Because it was a little bit sad, and I feel like it's not going to be there anymore. It's been here for 30 years. It opened 30 years ago. There's one in Allendale Mall near Yorkdale and Scarborough Town Center too. I haven't had the time to check them out as of yet. In Allendale Mall near Yorkdale, Scarborough Town Center too. Oh man, I don't even remember the last time being there. I can't even recall. I know I've been there, but man, I haven't been out in that direction in so long. Yorkdale Mall. Well, I went to Yorkdale Mall for TF1. That was cool. But man, I don't go to Toronto. I'm in Mississauga, and that's so funny. Living here, when I moved here, I thought I would be, going to Toronto more often. I don't get out there very often. Let's grab that. Let's grab that USB cable. Just give me 1 second, and I'll share that footage I took of Toys R Us because yeah, it's one of those relics. I look at these old videos of like Mississauga, the Square One area, like in the 90s. Like, yeah, those are the days. Okay, I'll be right back. 1 second. Okay, I think I've got one. Yeah, Star Convoy's great. Some cool gimmicks with the sword. So the sword is just a hilt. And apparently you could plug in a matrix or something like that. I didn't catch the whole, what he was saying there, what else you could plug in. But you could plug in like a matrix, or there was something that activates... Oh, there it is. Between its legs there. That's like some MacGuffin that brought Optimus and Rodimus together. And it comes with a Rodimus figure. Oh, this is the cool part. That brought Optimus and Rodimus together. And it comes with a Rodimus. Oh man. And it comes with a Rodimus. Whoops. That wasn't feeding back. Let's see, is this loading? Still fumbling with this. I think that worked. No, die. Sorry, some of my USB cables are kind of junk. So oh, here we go. Right on. Where's it? The 10th? Yeah. Here we go. Let's just copy these. Oh, here we go. Okay, sorry, I want to go back here. So, yeah, this is just the Transformers aisle, and they moved it. It used to be on just an end cap, the Transformers, but then they got a whole bunch of these Transformers 1 stuff, and they had it on these, like, display things. Sorry, I'm competing with this audio. I hope the music isn't too loud. So they had like these like center displays where they're trying to sell all these Transformers 1, and it was like stacked, and they had like rows, like maybe 30 of each of these boxes, and none of them, it was so sad, none of them were selling. Like there was a 3 full rows of Alpha Trions, and like the front one had his head missing, and it was just like so sad. Okay, so I'm just checking it out here, and on the bottom you can see that Wolfang, I think that's the name of that Beast Wars character, is just ripped off of his card there. It's whole thing. That's a figure I did not have when I was young. Also, the other one, the other wolf, I also didn't have. Some of these, yeah, I was watching a video about like how that Transformers 1 Megatron is like a remold of a 10-year-old, 10-year-old figure. And it had this like Micron gimmick that's like, where does that come from? And they just recently introduced, like maybe 6 months ago or so, they introduced this HMV section. And I don't know, I guess maybe that was like an easy markup, but like obviously it didn't work out for them in the end. I think maybe what it comes down to is just the rent and that expensive. It's expensive to have a facility like that in this area. That's prime real estate. What else do I have here? This is just a image. Oh, I can't open JPEGs. There we go. I almost bought a plushie. Everything was 30% off. Just for my cat. Yeah. I wish I had videos of it when I was like here in the 90s. So I was here in 92, and then I moved up north back to Sudbury. And then, you know, I would come visit very often. So that opened like in the time I was living away, and it was like really exciting to come here and visit my grandparents, who also lived across the street, in this building actually. They lived in this building, that's why I was so stoked to get a place in this building. Right near Toys R Us. The RID 2015 Overload retool, that was an odd find to see in person once. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the Overload retool. I've never, I think maybe I saw that at a toy shelf or something like that. I never saw that. Never played with that, that's what I want to say. Yeah, what is this guy here? Yeah, very simple stuff. Oh yeah, this is this GoBots pack. It's 30% off. And there was that other 2-pack. It was like Gladiator, Megatron, and something Optimus. That was here, but I guess it's sold. There's a few of them. Fewer Beast Wars. The funny thing is, like, when there's a wave, for some reason they don't get the full wave. Like the Deluxe Transformers 1. And did not see a Sentinel Prime, and I could talk about that all day. But it's a new age, because clearly this has been the problem with Hasbro for the past 3 years. Like 2021 was that was the COVID year, really, like the lock-in year. But since then they couldn't. Fractured Friendship set, yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm referring to. Yeah, it was a cool set. Friend Anthony picked that up. I think he was into that. Pretty sure he got that online. Oh, another cool thing was Wasp. Yeah, James mentioned that there was a Wasp figure, and they showed that off in the Hasbro Pulse video. That was a really cool one. I love Wasp. He's a cool character. Oh yeah, let's get back to the Star Convoy. I'm not done with this one. There's so many things going on with this. Maybe I could even pull up that video and play it quietly. Oh, we're already 45 minutes in. Man, time flies. I wanted to work on some 3D printing stuff. So yeah, that was a whole thing with that Auto Scout. I've been working on that for about a week. Not really, just like in my spare time a little bit. I've been learning Fusion 360, and I figure this is a good one to get started with. So what am I even looking for? Hasbro Pulse. Like, he was talking so slowly. He was like, I understand he was trying to explain things, but like he didn't even have a script. I'm having trouble with this OBS. So that was cool. I like this display, this whole layout here around like this, the Well of All Sparks. It's really cool. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, I guess I could pick this apart, but I wanted to see, is there Star Convoy here? I don't think so. Wow, that one on the right looks a lot like Power Master Prime, but it kind of looks like that Star Convoy on the far right here. Dunno. Oh man, that's a wicked t-shirt. So, yeah, the barricade here. That Superion sells itself, even without the stock. He's like, you need to collect them all. I'm like, that Superion just like that looks great. So Silverbolt is a great looking figure. Very stoked for this guy. Here is, oh man, look at that base mode. That's so cool. So much action happening there. So many panels and flippy things. And a simple core class hot rod. What do they call it? They call it a Micromaster. The original one came with a Micromaster, but that hasn't been, that's a lost art, Micromasters. The last is Star Convoy? Oh, okay, okay. He had a different chest there. He looked like he had like that Jinrai chest. Although he has very similar features to Jinrai or Power Master Prime. Like this base mode definitely looks a lot like Power Master Prime's base mode. His truck mode looks very similar, has like the same kind of techie trailer thing going on there. I never had a Star Convoy, and this was a Japanese thing, I think. Pretty sure. Does anyone have a Star Convoy? Has anyone played with a Star Convoy? Let's have a look. When did Star Convoy come out? So, it's a builder Micromaster. Star Convoy is a builder Micromaster based on the Beast Wars Uprising portion of the Generation 1 continuity family. I'm reading this for TF Wiki, by the way. The Star Convoy is a Micromaster scaled building integrated into the city of Micropolis. It serves as Hot Rod's base of operations on Cybertron in the 24th century. Okay, cool lore. So the fiction in the Beast Wars Uprising, after an anti-government faction, the Resistance, sprung up to overthrow the status quo, the Star Convoy became the meeting ground for a team working under Hot Rod. From there, they would plan out tactics to counter Resistance, terrorist activities. Hot Rod met with Countdown, Drillbuster, Blackout, and Space Shot in the Star Convoy after the Maximal rebel Grimlock stole the G-Virus from government possession. That's my James Caroli voice. James Caroli's so cool, and I love his voice. As Hot Rod's Micromaster incarnation came with the Star Convoy toy, his base in Beast Wars Uprising is a repurposing of said toy's base mode, paralleling Fortress Maximus and the Diatlus Exchange. I was focusing too hard on them. I failed in the voice and I failed with the at the comprehension test there. So, not sure. Okay, Power Master, 1991. Oh, Powered Master. Sorry, 1991. Its ID is C372, as in Cybertron 372. As the final new design Optimus Prime toy from the original Generation 1 era, the Japanese exclusive Star Convoy was a significant departure from previous versions. The incarnation of Prime transforms into an extended hood cab truck of made-up model pulling an implausibly large trailer, incorporating the motorized microcarrier powered by 4 AA batteries. Right, so it like moved on its own, or walked on its own as well. I guess it kind of stood roll. It had a hoverboard roll. The Micromaster drives Star Convoy either forward or backwards, spinning a radar dish mounted on the rear of his trailer as he rolls along. Cool. Prime's teammate in the Battlestar's Grandis can link up to rear of Star Convoy's vehicle and pulled along behind him. Sky Gary can then land atop Grandis, forming a giant vehicle. Right, Sky Gary rings a bell. That's part of Diatlus, if I'm not mistaken. This feels a little bit foreign to me. Unlike previous Optimus Prime toys, the cab section does not separate. Let's see what we're doing in chat. I still hate Classics Micromaster and the Micromaster Combiners, and never had Star Convoy. I still hate Classics. I still have Micromaster Classics and the Micromaster Combiners. Yeah, I love the combiners. Those were cool. That's an era for me. I love that time. That was a great time for Transformers for me. Additionally, Star Combat transforms into a large battle station that interacts with the Micromasters that made up the vast majority of the Transformers storyline at the time. Okay. And yada yada. That's about it. So here's the image I'm looking at. So it rolled in car mode, I think in bot mode too. I think it walked, I guess, kind of walk rolled. So there is the base mode. Similar with all these panels over here and their Micromaster Hot Rod. I dig it. Very much. So the new one, yeah, the new one looks really good. So that was, wow, a lot of things. 1, 2, 3 happening in April. 3 waves of deluxes, 3 waves of Voyagers, 2 waves of leaders. Wonder what this one's going to be. Quite a bit. So, yeah, James Warden has left, and I guess he had laid out a whole bunch of stuff for the future of Hasbro in the Transformers toy line. Let's see where the future leads. I'm not a fortune teller, but I'm digging. I'm always digging Hasbro. They know their stuff. Takara knows their stuff. That's an excellent partnership. It was like a brilliant thing that they came up with. Hasbro was so smart to license. First of all, like the story out to Marvel Comics to figure that out. Bob Budiansky was a genius at that, and all of the cogs and bits and matrices along the way. Yeah, made a brilliant franchise. So where it is today, they're really staying strong. What I'm concerned about is they're going to let these licensings go out in the future. Like they're not going to invest in movies anymore. They're not going to put much steam behind that. They're going to let people just do whatever. Speaking of which, I was trying to catch up with the Skybound comics today. Apparently they're up to issue 14, which I'm only up to issue 11. And that's a cool franchise. Skybound's doing a great job with that, so maybe the licensing thing isn't such a bad idea. I guess maybe the Skybound thing is good debate material in the favor of like licensing things out instead of like spreading themselves too thin with doing so many like license. They're like Marvel and Disney franchises and things. Let that stuff be licensed out. Okay, so I want to get to my 3D printing dude, Scout. Let's get him on screen here. Yeah, this guy. So this is a Tuesady design, and I really liked his design. I always liked his design. So he did a lot of things for a lot of companies, and his designs actually got a lot of companies started. New Age, Transbot, X-Transbots, etc. So for X-Transbots, Power Glide was a Tuesady design. The Ironhide Ratchet from New Age, that was a Tuesady design. He did like the Headmasters for Fans Project, and I just love Fans Projects in general. Fans Project toys. They're like the legacy third-party company. So here I'm looking for Tuesady. I thought I had this set up here. I guess I don't. I've been moving tabs open. Oh yeah, let's just look at Tuesady's page because he's awesome. I'm constantly scoping his page out. So a lot of these ones on the right, these are like what he had at WonderCon back in the 90s. So if anyone remembers, like you could only buy this at WonderCon, and it was actually licensed by Takara because anything you sell at the convention, Takara is like giving license out. So came with like an official certificate or something or other. Yeah, this is the Ironhide that New Age started with, I believe. And these are some new things he's working on. One cool thing is he has like it's like a manatee or a beluga whale. I think it's a manatee. Great stuff. Really, really cool designs. Very simple and intuitive, and he's always pushing the boundaries. So this is the one that that I've been working on, and I wanted to pull this little clip up here, and this is what kind of inspired me. I'm trying. This is what kind of inspired me to start with Fusion 360. You can animate these things, and like you can create these joints and like have a look at the design before you 3D print it, because like in the past I'd be 3D printing and testing fitment and like going back to the drawing board. So Fusion 360 has been a project of mine for the past week and a half, I guess you would say. So it's something I recently started with, but I'm pretty familiar with 3D printing, 3D design software, all the major ones, most of the major ones. And Fusion 360 was just the last of them that I would get on board with. In my opinion, it's okay. It's cool. It does a lot of great things. It's very precise. Has its own way of doing things, but it's missing a lot of features that I might have been used to in like some heavy-duty 3D design software like Cinema 4D and 3D Studio Max. What am I watching? Oh, it's just like an intro or something. Or maybe it's having a hard time playing. I think it's having a hard time rendering over there. Yeah, it's supposed to be Pluto. And it's not even passing the title screen there. That's suffering. So, if I could push my computer a little bit more and open Fusion 360, let's see if my computer can handle this. It's been doing well so far. Let's get some more of this beetle juice. Looks like bug juice. That's a green. Speaking of food coloring, apparently they're banning red food coloring in Canada. Banning red food coloring. Hey, was at work? What did I miss? Hey, Ninja. Just talk about like some of the reveals at Hasbro Pulse, and a flying squirrel came through here, and I won the lottery, but for some reason they revoked it, and apparently they caught the guy who shot the CEO. That was me. I caught the guy. Caught him red-handed. I was the McDonald's employee. I caught him, and then I quit my job. It sounds great. Yes. So right now, we're going to be looking at designing some Tuesady figures. So I have this Transformers. Well, let me just show you what I'm faced with here. Again, new at Fusion 360. I had to do some reboots here, and it's telling me recover some stuff, but I'm pretty sure I saved everything. Working Lego brick. So let's look at all the things I've been working on. I made a Lego brick. It's a Lego brick. And then, what else? Can I do this? That did something. James says, hey Ninjatron. And I made a gear and slider. Let's open this. This is pretty cool. Open a recovery document instead. Alright. And this one comes with a motion study, so... Oh, that one doesn't work. It has a motion. Or maybe I should just loop it. And so there's a few things. There's like a rotation joint here. There's a rotation joint here. There's like a synchronization here. Like this is half the amount of teeth as this. So it's like 1:2 ratio speed. And then there's like a slider, gear, and yeah, also 2 more rotational gears here. So that was my first understanding on how to like rig these joints together and have like a solid base. And let's close this to save some resources. I'm gonna go back here. transform test? What is this? Oh, that's a nothing. All right. No, don't save. And then an HDD stand. Oh yeah, so here I have like an HDD adapter, hard drive adapter for my hard drives. Here, I have one right here. And the problem is, like, I can plug in like little ones, like 2.5 inch, but I have this 3.5 inch sometimes, and it's kind of flipsy flopsy. So in order to prevent that from like leaning over and like putting so much weight on this thing, because like these, especially 2 gigabyte hard drives, are pretty delicate. Yeah, I made this little stand, and that's pretty precise, precision doing. And of course, caliper is a really important tool to have when you're designing and 3D printing stuff that you want to make in the real world. So let's have a look at that. All right. Yeah. So here we go. And so this was one of the first things I designed with like referencing. Like I was learning how to like do things in the real world. Just look at the sketches. So it's done with a sketch, and obviously I'm looking at this now, and I didn't really do this correctly. Like I didn't make a component. I kind of just made this in the directory. There's no separation of components. Well, there's only one component here. So if I could remove that solid body, it's only one solid body. And here's this sketch. So like I start with a square, an outline, and like I have some indentations and like some dotted reference lines, and the solid lines are like extrudable and things like that. And then I figured out how to extrude it into a thing that's only so high. And with a hotkey I could do like a measurement here of like how tall it is. I extruded it 3.9, but I have a little bit more here, so it's probably like 4.5 millimeters. Boom, that's your uncle. And then let's look at some. I think that's it. I think that's it for like my training, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Learn Fusion in 30 days. I gave myself 30 days. And a screw tester. Oh, this is really cool. So inside Fusion 360, you could take like parts from a company called McMaster and Carr, and what they do is they sell like bolts and nuts and screws and everything like it, and hose adapters and faucets and all kinds of crazy things. And like they have these 3D renderings that you could download directly into these things. So I made a little adapter to test, because like I have a whole box of these screws I got from China, all different sizes, all like M1.5 inch. Let me just show you back here. M1.6 millimeters. So it's 1.6 millimeters in diameter. Oh, this one's 2 millimeters in diameter, but 16 inches long. 16 millimeters long. This is 1.7 by 10 millimeters. And yeah, I got the whole assortment of sizes and things like that. And I figured, like, I got mostly like longer ones. I figured I don't need to order the smaller ones because I could just cut them. They're so thin. This is an M1 by 6. That's a 1 millimeter screw. These are so tiny. I could use these for like tiniest target masters and head masters I 3D print. That was the intention. Because I was using pins before. Maybe I can grab my pin bucket. Yeah, maybe I can grab my pin bucket. So I had like all of these ideas of how to design Transformers, and I've gone through many iterations and many tests and trials, and I see something different and I want to try that. And that's why I'm always excited to see new Transformers and new designs come out from all kinds of companies, Hasbro included. And I meant to say have, not hey. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, awesome. Thanks for confirming that. My validations inflated. So I had this whole thing of like mostly brass rods and like tight size stuff, and like really thin ones I could use, some big ones. Some of them are tubes. Yeah, so I would design around like what I had here, because these are relatively cheap from Hobby Shop. They're a couple of bucks for a pack of those each. So I figure I'd grab a whole bunch. Every once in a while I'd go over there, or maybe I'd like, oh, maybe I could try it with this, and I'd go there and get another pack, a new size. And yeah, it's hard to work with pins. It's really hard to work with pins. Like you need those like hardened spring steel, whatever they're using there. And then I realized, because I was looking at my Masterpiece Soundwave, because I was working on that cassette bot over here. Let's get a pointer. And better screen would help, eh? So over here, I notice it's melted a little bit, and that's like the pin that goes through the tape deck here. So I was looking at the other side. The other side's open. So I think what happened, this is not where it went in. I think it went in on this side, and they heated it up. So like, I don't have that contraption. I do have soldering irons, and I do have like excess soldering irons. I could make one of those contraptions, but like, I have to like readjust it for every different pin place for the thing. Not to mention 3D print material doesn't really melt like this type of plastic would. It doesn't really cooperate with that kind of plastic. You want to see something cool that I did with my Soundwave? I put magnets in his feet so he just can like, it doesn't fall and like slide and stuff. I could put him like cool places. Like he used to be on my computer and like in like all kinds of cool dancing poses. But I have him on this. This is like platform I do some soldering stuff on, but yeah, it wasn't so slidey. I'm holding it with my thumb. Yeah, it feels more solid. Transformers should have, all of them should have like magnets in their feet. It's not, you don't need weighty feet. You just need a couple of magnets in there. I'm gonna have like a magnetic base, like the Microman. Oh, speaking of which, Cordon and Sunstreakers are coming with a Microman. That's super cool. I didn't know that. James told me that, and I would love to check that out. But I would also love to get some 3D printing. Let's go back to that. Where are we at? 10 after 9. Okay, we're not so bad. We have plenty of time. How do I get back to my Transformers folder? So that's all the prep work I did. And then I didn't do this first. I did this along the way because I realized I could make a folder that, or I could make a file with like a bunch of joints, and I could import those components when I needed to. So here is a joint, and I think I could manipulate this. Aha, I can. Yeah, by holding the Alt key, because I've set up this joint here, and let's turn off some of these sketches. Don't need all these lines. And I did a test for the swing opening of this. What this is a straight cylinder. And the cool thing about this is I was able to like adjust this to the half. It was like 0.05 millimeters. So the radius difference between the peg and this hole. So this hole here is 3 millimeters, and the peg is in diameter, and the peg is 2.9 millimeters. 2.9. 2.9. Let's do that again. 2.9, yeah. So the difference in radius is 0.05 millimeters. That's like some really tight tolerances, but it allows me to have some really nice tight joints. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. So I don't have to, well, I don't have to worry about like, let's say it's a bicep and it's holding up a gun. I don't have to worry about sag because it's really strong. And I tested this little clip here, like this peg and hole and peg. Come on, lighting. Let's just give her here. Is it going to autofocus for me? No. Yeah, I could do something about this. Does that work? As close as I'm gonna get. Okay, well that's, camera's not really. Oh, there. Oh, it's going the wrong way. There we go. Okay, maybe I can get really close. Unnecessary, but okay. Yeah. And I can't get this out anymore. If I were to try to take this out of this plug, yeah, I would probably break it because this material is a lot more brittle than ABS plastic or plastic that you might find in a transformer. Anyway, so that was a first test of like a joint, and then actually that was a second test. This is the first test, and so this difference is the peg hole was 3.1 millimeters in diameter, so like the difference is 0.1, and there's a little bit of play. Let me show you what happens here. Is that like this whole thing pivots. So if you look at the side profile, that lid pivots. Also, another thing to point out, pointing out all these technical things. This is fun for me and exciting when I figure these things out. So the difference here is 0.2 millimeters, so 0.1 millimeter on either side. I changed that to be 0.05 millimeters on either side because I realized that that's also adding play. Can we focus back now? Actually, let me show you the next piece that I made. So Soundwave is the best masterpiece figure ever. I would agree. I would agree. Yeah, I think so. He's my favorite. So this is, let's go back to focus here. This is a piece of that Auto Scout there. This is the bottom with the wheels. Focus. So this is just a test. I didn't have the pegs built yet. So how does it go? So this is the bottom of it, and I wanted to make sure that this fits in really properly with the Masterpiece Soundwave. I also have my cassette man right here. That I could test once I have it. I don't have any cassettes. I don't know where they are, and I don't want to open my sealed ones. So here are some wheels, which roll. I'm rolling the wrong one, and yeah, that's a test. It works, and I figured out, okay, this has got to be a little bit tighter, this hinge here, because it's a little bit loose. I figure it doesn't really matter because it's going to be underneath the carriage and like plugged together. There's going to be a peg in between, and it's going to be weighted down, so that should be okay. But I tightened it up anyways, and it's really cool. As you command, Micah. This, I made sure, what's interesting is on the Masterpiece Soundwave, there's a little indent, and I'm not really understanding what it's for, but typically your cassettes are 1 centimeter in diameter, but inside here, poor lighting, but in here there's a little lip, and that's a 9 millimeter space between here and this lip. And what I think it is for is when you have the cassette locked in against that plate, and then you open the cassette door, it'll like fling out, right? Instead of like the door just flinging and like the tape just like flopping over, it's holding the cassette with it, but nothing is holding it and back from that upwards and outwards trajectory. So I made sure that 9 millimeters, this bottom piece is 9 millimeters, but the rest of it is 10 millimeters in diameter, in width, so that you can, so it looks like a regular cassette. But I got away with this 9 millimeter thing because the wheels have to protrude a little bit, right? So this is the bottom profile, so that this area is what's going to fit into that slot. Man, it worked out so well. This wasn't actually my idea. This is how just I designed it anyways. But I don't know if he intended on putting that in Soundwave. I don't know its exact dimensions. I'm just going off a couple of these images here. The rest of it's my design. So in a sense, it is really my design. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to finish this one out. So let's go back. Let's go back and play with what. Let's play with what I got here for the Autoscout. Very cool program. So what I really wanted to do is I wanted to be able to bring components in from one thing or another. Like for example, I have that joints file that contains some of the joints. I would just like to bring in some ball joints. Let's say I need a 5mm ball joint. Well, I have one design. I can just bring the ball and cup into another file. I can do that in this. It's not as seamless as some other programs. Yeah, but it's pretty good. And what's more important is that it's a standard. This is very much a community standard, and a lot of people use this. A lot of people have similar problems, and I could just really quickly go and reference something online, and there's answers to just about everything. So let's clear up some space. Let's have a little bit larger working area. Can I bigify this? That's okay. And right now I think I have a motion study, so I can look at some motion here. That's what I have so far. So everything kind of fits into place, and it's all able to make more sense when I have these like animations, these motion studies. Before I was using an outdated program that doesn't get supported anymore. Actually hasn't been supported in about 10 years or so. So it's about time that I move on to another simple to use 3D modeling software, because I usually make some simple shapes and things like that, and 123D design suited my purposes for the most part. And I could have done this in 123D design very easily. There's nothing here that I could not have done in 123D design. But it's easier to iterate things. I would have had like multiple iterations of like the same thing copied and pasted here. I think some people have seen my Warpath work, and I have like multiple Warpaths lined up. I'm working on version 1, 2 to 10. There's a whole bunch of these parts strewn across like the whole plane here. But in this, like, I have iterations, and I can go back. I have like this history line on the bottom, and like, for example, I could change some attributes. I changed this feature from like way back on the timeline, and this is just a small extrude over here. I extruded at 0.1 millimeter from an offset or something like that. And yeah, or it's a face push. I won't do that again. That's something, that a habit that I got from 123D design that I realized doesn't really work over here, because it makes it more difficult to iterate off of that. So here I am with super bad posture, and I feel it's catching up on me. I gotta take a break from sitting over here. What can we design next? I figure I need a door, right? I need a door that opens here, so I could start. Where can I start with that? So I guess we should check here. This is 5.2 millimeters. I've allowed that. So that means the inner part, I want to have 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters, because this length also here is also, oh yeah, the width is 5.1 millimeters. That's going to squeeze on the sides more, which suits my purposes. But like the top and the forward ways, yeah, these are both 5.2 millimeters. So I want it 5 millimeters in, but I also want a 0.1 millimeter separation between this door and this face over here. So that means it's going to be extended by 0.1 millimeters. So the length of that extrusion should be 5.1 millimeters. thusly. I could start with this section here. Ba, 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 ba. How are we going to do this? Pretty sure I have a sketch for this. Okay, if not, I don't. What is this? What is this? Sketch? Is that a sketch? That's not a sketch. Okay, let's make a new sketch. On the body? No. What I want to do is I want to make a new... So from the root directory, I want to make a new component. So let's make a new component. I want to call this... Oh shit, you know, I already started working on this. I already made one called door. Door's right here. Boom! I made a door and I didn't even realize it. That's so funny. Alright, so let's see. Did I finish it? I pretty much finished it, eh? Yeah, that's cool. Boom. Now if I go to motion study, did I motion study this guy? No. Okay, did I even joint this guy up? That's, what is that? That's the bottom. That's a rigider or something. That's the bottom. That's the top. No, I didn't make a joint there. Okay, so let's make a joint so I can make an as-built joint. This is fun. So I forget which one I clicked first. So first I click the moving one and then the body that moves. So let's try it this way. First I click this one, then I click this, the one that doesn't move, and I make a revolute joint. Snap it to snap it to the center here. Boom! That door should have been spinning there. There we go. Boom! Now, I might be spinning the wrong direction. So if I spin it, let's say, how do I do this? Oh, here we go. So I want it to go, yeah, this is negative. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch this one to the bottom. And I should spin it the other way around. Oh. Let's set that to 0 and this to 90 is the maximum. And let's test that. Boom. That worked. Okay, great. So now you can see that I did, like I said, I knew exactly what I was going to do. That gap in here is going to be 0.1 millimeters. That just leaves just enough clearance where it looks flush. But if there's any like inconsistencies, which there shouldn't be, this 3D printing stuff is pretty consistent. I got 0.1 millimeters difference here, and then if I look over here, I should have 0.1 millimeter difference. 2 millimeter difference from there. That seems to have been working out for me. It's just enough clearance. If I went any less, that wouldn't work out. And also this rear one, 0.2. So I was just figuring out the exact dimensions I might need for these joints going forward. And the distance on the either side of these is 0.05 millimeters, which gives a good squish and allows for a straight linear joint roll. Okay. That's not what I want, right? Well, let's just go home. And then let's add a motion study. Let's edit this motion study rather. And I want to add that door. Can I rename this? Let's make it easy to rename. can add it though. Should did. So it's going to it's going to wait. It's going to pop open real quick. It's going to let that arm scroll out, and then it's going to pop back closed. So let's have a look at how that works out. Door opens, Ark comes out. So this is going to be like a forward and reverse, actually. So it can go a little bit slower. That's as slow as I can get this thing, and that's the most frames I could put in. I have 100 frames to work with, so that's another thing that's limiting about this software. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to revert that position and save that. I'm going to say, because I can give milestones for this, or I can give version descriptions, so I could say I added door motion and save it like that. So I've been adding some color just to make it look good. Let's go look at the colors here. And add this color to this piece. Sweet. What I want to do now is, there's that front wheel piece that comes up. What do I call that? Front chassis. Let's do a new component. Let's create a sketch over here. It's going to be as wide as the thing, so let's get a construction line. Just line it out. Yeah. Well, line this out here. And this over here. So I'm just making construction lines. Oh, I didn't name my component. Let's name the component, what is this? So, front fender. Let's just call it a fender. How come I can't see my construction lines? Didn't I make construction lines? That's weird. Did I hide construction lines? Sketches. Oh, there we go. Okay, sketches turned off. So I've learned enough where I could figure some things out like that on my own, which is cool. I like that. And then let's check the distance between here and this guy. This is going to be 23.5. So I'm going to make a line intersecting here, regular line. So it's 50 across, so 23.5. So I don't have to do that in my head. I can just, I love computers, and humans can be so stupid. No, I want 23.5. 23.5 minus 0.5. Yeah, I don't have to do much thinking at all. And computers do things for me. Did that go the full width? Yeah. All right. And another line. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I'm going to do a line out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to add constraints to it. I'm going to make, how do you say this? I'm going to make this line, coincident with this dot. Yeah, perfect. So now you move the line perpendicular to that point of the dot. Also going to make it not done yet. Going to make another line. Another line over here. And I'm going to make it collinear with this line. Maybe I should have. Do I have a line there already? I guess I do. Let's do this anyways. I'm going to constrain this to here. That works. And then this is going to be distance from here to here of negative 23.4. Did that work? Negative 23.4. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll just, because I have 23.4 of the length of that line, I can just make this coincident with over here. Oh. Unresolved dimension. Okay, let's delete that dimension. So sometimes it can be over-constrained. And I'm glad it gives warnings. What did I do there? So this I want coincident to this line. Not going to go past. Alright, no worries. Let's keep trucking. And this one. That worked. This one to this one. Boom. That worked. So now I can select, although this one doesn't seem to be, if it's blue that means it's not constrained enough. When you want like a lock on these sketches, which means that all the lines are constrained. So I'm working on the fender and it's in edit mode. Let's see if I finish sketch. Yeah, I don't get that lock sign because there's a blue line here. Blue line. Blue line. It's not, like, as you can see, I haven't been a stickler about this before, but I would like to be able to not screw this up. Over constrained, yeah, see? See you. I guess that's a whatever. So we're finished here, and let's do an extrude. Within our fender, we're selected on our component that we want to be working within. Select all these faces that we've cut. Still getting used to these mouse controls. A little bit different than 3D design. Just make sure I got. Wait a sec, wait a sec, wait a sec. Where's my 1mm gap? 0.1mm gap. I don't have one. What the hell? Okay. Okay, let's fix this. What do we have here? Have a line. This top thing's a little bit in the way. What do we call that? The antenna? Antenna, bye-bye. So this line doesn't go down all the way. So this one I want to be coincident. This one, boo boo boo, down to here. Boom. And what is this? Out of here. Don't want that line. And this one. Okay, let's coincident this to there. Boom. That's what I wanted. And do I have to do this one? No, I think that's right in the corner. Great. And this one's going up 5 millimeters, I think. Okay, so this is a great example. So I did that extrusion. I could right-click that face that I extruded, edit feature, and I extruded 5 millimeters. I can go 0.5, 5.1. I think that's what the difference is there. Yeah, boom. Easy peasy, easy peasy. Another thing, I have this sketch here. I think that's 6.12 diameter, yeah, and is that what I want to do? So I want to figure out what it's going to take to get that inner spin going, because this has to come onto the bottom and flip out. So if I have a circle here, so make a new sketch on this face. It's going to be 6.12 millimeters because that's what the diameter of the joint is on the other side, or the antenna side. And that's going to be 6.12 divided by 2. Okay, and let's get rid of this door for a time being. So I want to get, well, let's see how wide this is. It's 4.3 millimeters. Doesn't make sense. So many sketches in the way. Outside to outside, 4.8. Okay, that makes more sense. So if I put a sketch, yeah, let's just do a fender sketch here. Alright, this is that mixtape thing. Let's take this off of the list because it's a little bit distracting. Okay, what's the 4.5? Alright, 4.5. $2.2? Really? 2.2? What's the difference here? 2.9. Okay, well that's got to be 2.5 then. And then measure here to here. What? Let's measure from the center. 2.6. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so 2.55. This is going to change anyways. So that's going to be like the axis of rotation that way. So what I want here is like, this is the first time I'm doing it this way. So I want this, I want to move this, I want to set pivot point. Oh, shit, let's finish the sketch first. So let's move this whole object. And the pivot point is going to be here. P6. Right there. Finish that. That's going to flip completely around 180. Can I edit the sketch? Sketch, edit sketch. And that's going to come. Oh yeah, so it's constrained there, right? So this one we're going to have to move it to, let's just say 12. No, I need more. This to be 16. No, too much. I'd like it to be as close to the center as possible because that thing is going to have like a center hole in it gimmick. 14.5. From the Jizai reference image, and I don't have my reference image out, that's sad. Image, auto scout. What feature was I looking for? Oh yeah, so the feature I'm looking for is not in that picture. It's right here. Okay, so over here you can see this is that pivot point there, and it's slightly offset because in bot mode you could see it's off just by like a millimeter. So it's like offset by half a millimeter just to get that lined up with the bottom correctly. And from what I could see, it's lower or it's higher? It's lower than the hole. Okay, okay. So this pivot point is lower, so we can make this 15 and see if I have been right by eye. So that one, this body. So this is just a new way to do a rotation check. It's kind of like how I did this in 3D design. Did that? Wow. Almost perfect. Almost perfect there. Okay, that's interesting too because like that might interfere. How far are we? We could figure that in a sec. So no, that shouldn't interfere. If it's low enough, that should be fine. So 0.5, so 15 is too much. So 14.8. 14.7. And that looks like that leaves 1 millimeter gap there. Great, 14.7. That's a little bit lower than I'd like to have it. I'd like that like right in the center here. What's going on with that? Oh yeah, it's constrained. Okay. Is that the center line? So let's create a line from here. And measure from here to here. Well, 0 obviously, but let's .5. No. Wow, that is no 0.5. It'd have to be 0.6 actually, because right, we had to account for that additional. Oh darn, it's supposed to be 6. So now let's try that motion again. Well, let's see the difference here. Oh, I'm getting boring with this, I feel. Distance from here to there. Oh. 0.8. Yeah, that's too much. 6.5. Alright, let's try that again. What was the distance I No, I didn't move it. Oh yeah, that's right. Great, and it's cleared. Clearance, unless I go more than that, more than 180, of course, it'll clip on that side because the pivot point's on the inside. So yeah, that works out perfect. Perfect. And it's 0.6 below that center line here, so that means it's going to be 1.2 millimeters offset, and that's acceptable. Has this been in the way the whole time? Oh my god. So yeah, this hole right here, that's where it's going to be offset. That's fine, absolutely fine. That's how the maker had it, and I'm following his schematics, so of course mine's going to be similar. I should have grabbed some snackies. I'm running out of steam. Do I have any snacks? I did have a whole plate of Chinese food there. Well, it's running 10-2, so if I'm going to be continuing, I'm going to have a bite of that. This is going to be a brief mukbang experience. Kur? I think I figured that out. What is it, 50.55? 60.65? Okay, we'll fix that afterwards. And no, 15.65. And that should have it. Yep, that's just about right. So next I want the, which piece do I want? I actually want to start, because this one is not connected to the outside body. I want that inner hinge to be done first. So clearly that's going to have to be centered somewhere around here. So how can I build this one out? I want it right around this thing. I want it just wider than this thing. Can I do this? Combine these sketches somehow. So that's exactly what I wanted, and that's 3 millimeters. So that's going to be the hole. That's in a good spot, so I don't have to worry about that. It's going to be on this side. Jeez. Gonna catch some Z's. See you on Goober's channel tomorrow. Good night, James. Good night, James. Thanks for coming, man. Yeah, I'm feeling it too. Feeling that steam there happening. Using my brain power. Okay, so that's cool though. That's cool. Let's see. Maybe I can make some parts in any case here. Let's make a new component. We'll call this temp hinge, just for now. And we'll extrude this face here. And temp, I'll just call it temp axle, and we'll extrude that face here. Oops, whoops. That whole circle. So essentially what I want is this to be joined here and that to be joined there, and then we'll do a transformation, just like mock transformation, mock up here. So I'm going to click on the main everything. I'm going to create or rather I'm going to assemble an as-built joint, because they're in the place that I want it to be. Select this guy, and this guy should be the anchor. This is the snap point. Exactly. Maximum is going to be I want the maximum 180. I want the minimum 0. Okay, well, we have our joint. And then I'm going to have assemble as-built joint. So from this guy now to this guy. What's that going to do? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Sweet. Although I wanted to go the other way, so I'm going to pick the other side of this thing. If I can. There's this sketch in the way. Can I see that in there? Can't get in there. I turn off these sketches. How do I turn them on? Body? Yeah, boom. That's what I wanted. And the maximum 180. Boom. Okay, great. let's see if that works, because now I'm connecting like 2 joints sequentially. Let's see if I can motion study this guy. So if I add the previous one, that should... There we go. No. Let's unclick. The other one's out of the way. So we want this one to be 180. And then here, let's give it a delay. Okay, let's do that again. Here, 0. 180. Ah. Okay, that works. Yeah, I did. Okay, great. Now let's make that less drastic. 180. Uh-huh. And then add this one. So that's gonna have to flip first, but whatever. Just for the purposes of demonstration. Oh, yes. Let's get that door in there. Oh my god. Oh my, oh, that's so cool. It's got all the sketches on. Let's get rid of some of these sketches here. That's why I had sketches off. What else? Joints. So I have to do some cutting on the inside there. Obviously that door has to be open as that thing comes in. It's going to take some tweaking there for that motion thing, but there's 100 frames and it's not that important to be tweaking it. This is basically just for motion survey. And purposely Autodesk, the creators of this program, are limiting how much you could do that with this video output here. Damn, that's looking really cool. I love that. And pretty enthused about this program. I like its simplicity. I like the fact that I could just do this. This is just about enough. And being able to reiterate and go back and edit some features that I've changed in the past, that's really bonus, really bonus. So I'm digging this program. I'm going to continue with it. I've gone this far already. So the problem is now I'm a little bit upset. I spent so long figuring out 1, 2, 3D design. Like, yeah, more than 10 years working on 1, 2, 3D design. I'm so proficient with it. I'm really good. I know exactly what I want to do with it. Like it's my guitar or something like that. I know how to work it like it's an instrument. And now I'm changing to a new instrument. It's a little bit upsetting, but yeah, gotta move on, gotta change. That's how we improve and get better. It's unfortunate that 1, 2, 3D design wasn't upgraded, but I guess this was the next iteration. I guess this was the direction that ultimately they gotta go in. Cool. Thanks, Ninja. Appreciate that, dude. Thanks. So a few important things to look at, like that front axle, that front gray thing that I just did, has to roll before this antenna can move up, because that's going to interfere with that. That's just not going to be able to open. They're kind of locked together because they're so close together. So the door opens, that thing rolls down halfway, and then it flips over, then it goes down. So it's going to be a halfway thing. So let's fix that. That's going to be so tedious. This thing is not designed to be a video editing program. Tonight it's eggplant, steak, and fried rice from the Chinese grocery store. Okay, so what? I didn't really want to move on to the next thing without finishing the previous one. So the legs are completely done, or the back wheels, I guess, the base. The wheels, I want to make an outline. I figured out how to make a slot there. We could do that. That should only take a moment. So the wheels are one step away from being done. The body needs to be hollowed out. So before I moved on from the body, I wanted to finish that, but like there's other aspects of the thing that I want to figure out before I can even finish the body. And that's just how things work. Like Transformers are a puzzle, so everything interlocks and is playing off each other. So kind of work on everything at once is kind of the way to go. And that's the way it seems that Tuesady is designing, because he's making all these considerations. Everything is intertwined. And he's really good. He's a really amazing Transformers designer, and he's always innovating and trying something new. And I love how he's trying something new with these snap joints. I'm not sure if it's exactly what I was working on the inside, but I had to make it work how he is doing it. Otherwise the thing just wouldn't work. Like there's no place for screws. It's the only way to put this thing together. Really cool design, very simple design, but is really well done, very intuitive. But at the same time, it's complex. It's intuitive once you get into it. It just seems right. Other Tuesady designs, like I've been following him for a long time, so I see some new things here. He's always pushing himself to do something different. Some of his more interesting ones are like the animals and organic shapes that he does. It's just astounding. Okay, I guess I can't really go on. I should have just left it at that. I'd love to, but I was working on the Deceptikitty website. Can I open that without things crashing? Let's have a look at the back end here. So a lot of these are the codings and the files, and I hope I don't give any secrets away. It's actually not so exciting on this end. What can I show you? Nothing much. No. That's probably too much as it is. So Deceptikitty website is getting worked on, getting a little bit of updates. Some Google login stuff was very important that I get updated. Turned out to be not very difficult at all to get that updated. Some old APIs were getting deprecated. So that got fixed. Lickety split. I wanted to add a chat. That's for another week after Christmas. Christmas is a good time for me to get some projects done. And yeah, I've already gotten started on wrapping up and finishing some projects before before I head back to work after the season. It's still a little bit slow season for work, so I have an opportunity to like become a little bit more artsy-fartsy. And yeah, chill with a coffee and do some artwork and 3D printing and coding and programming. And it all falls under the same category. So I think this is pretty neat as it is. We added some joints. We added a test fixture to see how that whole front axle plays out. We're going to be deleting those bodies that we made and start with some new components, but using the sketches we made, because we've centered that peg for the thing to roll top and bottom. Okay, I'm blurring a little bit, so thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. Everyone for joining. Ninjatron, James, unknown unpopular user, Richard Reyes, thank you all for joining. You guys are awesome. You guys are cool cats. You're super rad. And I'll see you guys in the Rad Zone tomorrow. And until then, be excellent to each other. That's a cool line from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. See you next time, Ninja-san. Thanks for being here. Have a good night.